several plans that you work on when you start working on a film. So the plan A had Maruti management very much in the film, but they just blocked me for 1 year, and they wouldn't give me access, and I tried and tried and tried, but they just refused. And then I realized also, if you look carefully at the Maruti industry, company, what's interesting is that given that how important the company is to the Indian economy, both symbolically also in terms of having one of the first big corporations to come in post liberalization, and or even in fact just before liberalization and structural adjustment. So it's a very important symbolically company, but very little research on it, and very little that's been written on it in academic or research terms. So you can't access much about the company actually, and which points to the fact that they are a very closed company. So it's not, they just blocked me completely. I was not given any access. So I had no option by the end of it. So plan B came into play.
I'm saying there was no dearth of the Maruti point of view, and I'm very glad you didn't put it and waste time on it.
It wasn't about point of view, but I wanted access to their actually, because they have very fascinating management training processes.
And all that.
So I wanted actually to get into the management training and how they decide on policies. So that was what I was interested in, but I had no idea.
Thank you so much for this beautiful film, and really the workers haven't been heard at all, and so this is a terribly important film for the workers. And yesterday you had held a show, one of your showings for the workers. I missed it, so I came here, and but the report I got was the workers are thrilled with the film. What I would like to say was, I think, I'd like to ask the audience whether they noticed the rate of exploitation in producing the cars. That is the most important thing. That is the reason why this whole thing has happened. That 50 minutes to roll out a car, 50 seconds to roll out a car. And you counterposed it with that advertisement, so beautifully the imagery was done. So I think that that is something that, that's what needs to be, emphasized because people may belong to a class where they don't identify with the struggle. But you have to look at, it's this exploitation which is creating all the value in the world, including that of the peasants or the workers. And you also, ended with the land question, which is completely linked today with what is happening in our country, what is happening to the workers and the peasants, and the solution also lies with them, I feel. So I'd like to say to Kalpana, there is nothing to be, dismayed about. There's going to be, definitely people will rise to solve the problems which, you dealt with the environmental question also, which I think a lot of people here could identify with. The people will, stand up because there's a need for it. There's no solution except to stand up. You can see that, at the way they have been treated, and the way they have been organizing, and they're determined that if one lot goes, another one will come, and the third one will come, and this fourth one will come. That they will keep, there's no alternative to organizing against it. So it's inevitable that people will organize and people will reply what is happening to them, and which is really about what is happening to our whole people in the country, whether it's the land or it's the production of all commodities.
You're right, absolutely. I don't think, at least I'm not hopeless. Sometimes, yes, it becomes so terrible that you say out of rhetorically that there's no hope. But there's just so much resistance actually in this country, and all kinds of, in small ways, odd ways. Say like even with, Amina and Bobby, that sequence about these two people who, it's just a passion to start in an inquiry and getting into that thing out of nowhere, and they've done fantastic actually research work which shows what and how conflict is stitched into the very planning stage of an industrial township. So there is an inevitability to conflict which is right there in its map, and which is a kind of resistance, and there is resistance everywhere, and it's just
has to be organized. That's when it makes a difference.
yeah.
It's when people get together, and that's the only time they get a voice.